Hey, what's up, YouTube? It's Richie from Boston. It's the 19th of September. It's 2019. You see this? The first schools in the 13 colonies, or the Northeast, Massachusetts, etc., was opened in the 17th century. Boston Latin School was the first public school opened in the United States in 1965. To this day, it remains the oldest public school. Great. And yet, the last ranking I could find for the United States puts us at 14th in education, below South Korea, Japan, Singapore, Hong Kong, Finland, the UK, Canada, the Netherlands, Ireland, and Poland. And it's funny because everyone likes to make jokes about Polish people, and yet they're ranked higher than the United States in education. It also ranks 24th in literacy, 17th in educational, Common Core, which doesn't even make any sense. The U.S. ranks 11th in fourth grade math. Fourth grade math. The U.S. ranks 6th. Do you see the trend? Do you see the trend? Well, you see this? This was all overtaken. And the reason for that is shown perfectly in the Corbett Report's video, How Big Oil Conquered the World and Why Big Oil Conquered the World. Now, I'll leave links to both of these videos in the description because I'm not going to get into it right now on this scale, but James does. Links will be pinned in the comment section. But, long story short, the Rockefellers, the Carnegies, the Mellons, we'll just call them the Illuminati, they went with this quote by Adolf Hitler. He alone who owns the youth gains the future. He alone who owns the youth gains the future. Now, why am I showing you this? Because of this. One of my subscribers just sent me a link to this, and teens are pledging. They're pledging not to have kids until leaders take action on climate change. Do you see what I'm saying? They use children against people constantly. Climate change, climate change. Well, Richie from Boston, you said it was freezing in Massachusetts this morning. It is. It is. Blocking out the sun in the Northeast has effectively dropped the temperature at least 10 to 15 degrees below normal. The middle of September is still considered summertime. Even into October, you're still wearing shorts. I'm wearing a hoodie right now. You see what I mean? Hitler knew that this would work. And Hitler didn't come up with this on his own. He was just quoted as saying it. These guys using children to foist the largest conspiracy against the world has ever seen is climate change. They're simply saying that this, spraying the atmosphere every single solitary day, I mean, it's completely and totally obvious. You can watch as this airplane turns it on and off, and you can clearly see that this is coming from wingtip to wingtip. It's not coming out of two engines. They're simply claiming that this, geoengineering, solar remediation, solar dimming, chemtrailing, they're claiming that this is climate change when it isn't. They're doing this and have been doing this for decades now, and it's affecting the weather unbelievably, absolutely unbelievably. And sadly, most Americans just do not care whatsoever at all. Not only are they affecting the weather, not only have they weaponized the weather and used it against us numerous times now, but they've also convinced people into believing that it's a natural event that needs to be stopped. It's the Hegelian dialectic. He alone who owns the youth gains the future. Myself, hundreds of YouTubers have explained this over the years. The Hegelian dialectic is an agenda. They want to do something. So they manufacture an event. And then they come up with the solution. Well, this is the event that they've manufactured, spraying the skies all over the world, not just the United States, but everywhere. It's obvious. It's completely and totally obvious. But this is the agenda. And then this is the desired result. Take away all your freedoms and depopulate the planet at the same time. They've been using the Hegelian dialectic on us. They use it every single solitary day, and people fall for it, hook, line, and sinker. So not only are they spraying the skies, not only are they using the weather as a weapon, not only are they causing droughts, floods, fires, famine, everything else, but they're using your own children against you now. And you know where they got that from? Right here. Public schools used to teach people things. The United States, before the Rockefellers, before the Carnegies, before the Mellons, started making grants and then taking their spots on the board of directors, etc., schools used to teach children stuff. In the United States, not anymore. They simply, it's an indoctrination station. Now, why do I think that global warming is a complete and total hoax? Well, because I've been watching them spray the skies for years and then deny it, and then suddenly come out and say that they are spraying the skies. But also,
is global warming going to destroy the climate of Earth and make the planet uninhabitable? Well, a new study of the long-term increase in global temperatures is rekindling the climate change debate.
We've asked KUSI's John Coleman to report on this new data from his skeptical point of view. John?
Well, Sandra and Alan, it was fascinating and pretty frustrating for me to watch the news reports last week. The national media reported on this new study from the sky is falling or a doomsday point of view. So tonight, I'm going to examine just how this study was done and what, if anything, it adds to the science.
now for those that don't know, the man speaking is John Coleman. He's the guy that actually started the Weather Channel. There never was a Weather Channel. This guy's the one that started the Weather Channel, so he might know a thing or two about the weather. And sadly, when he started telling the truth, like you should, they discredit him like they do.
The scientists behind this new study say it indicates the average temperature of planet Earth will increase by 3 to 8 degrees by the year 2100. That's 87 years from now. A 3-degree increase would be a pretty big deal, and an 8-degree warm-up would be the stuff of real climate crisis. By the year 2100, we will be beyond anything human society has ever experienced. That's a quote by the study leader, Sean Marcotte, a postdoctoral researcher at Oregon State University's College of Earth, Ocean, and Atmospheric Science. An 8-degree warm-up. It would melt the polar ice caps. It would flood the coastlines. It would turn the U.S. Farm Belt into a desert. So how did these scientists come up with their projections? Well, they calculated the temperature of Earth over the last 2,000 years and produced this chart. It shows a rather steady temperature for all but the last 300 years or so, and then the temperatures skyrocket upward. Now, before you get too excited, please note the numbers on the left side of your TV screen. This is the temperature anomalies from so-called normal, and it's done in tenths of a degree. So that huge warm-up we see on the chart, it's actually less than 1 degree anomaly. So if they are correct, so far the warming is not alarming at all. Well, where did they get the data for this chart? Well, they used just 73 sites to cover the entire globe, the land, and the oceans. Their temperatures were projections from ice cores of Greenland, stalagmites in Borneo, and fossilized pollen in Scandinavia. Some of the data comes from the shells of long-dead aquatic microbes, buried as many as 50 feet or more below the ocean floor. From the chemical makeup of the shells, the scientists got clues about the water temperature at the time those creatures existed.
So I'm not going to play this entire thing, but that gives you a really good idea of the absolute bullshit. Absolute nonsensical bullshit. I'm going to leave a link below for this. The Global Warming Petition Project. 31,487 American scientists have signed this petition, including 9,029 with PhDs. This petition also had former science czar of Barack Hussein Obama. He's also signed this. Think about that. 31,487. So let's do a little math. 31,487 divided by 50 states equals 630 scientists in every state. has signed this, okay? And "180 physicists from every state have signed this. And yet this is buried. And as a matter of fact, when you try to find it, the first thing that you find is disinformation, because that's what they're doing. They're erasing the internet. They're making everything go away because that's what they do. Do you see what I'm saying? They've infiltrated the schools. They're brainwashing the children. They're foisting a lie on everybody. Everyone that knew anything about this that was trying to tell has been villainized or completely buried. Global warming isn't real. Filling the skies with heavy metals to block out and reflect the sun, it's frighteningly real. And it's so real that you can simply go outside and look up and see it any day. And not only that, my entire YouTube channel is based on this. This is what I started with. I noticed this 10 years ago and started making videos, which is why I'm still here today. How did I know 10 years ago that they could use airplanes to spray aerosolized aluminum, barium, strontium, and whatever else out of the back of airplanes to fill the skies with a white blanket that could reflect the sun back into outer space, and that a guy named Dr. David Keith would be in charge of it? And then 10 years later, they come out and completely say that exact same thing. How in the world could I have guessed all those things exactly right, but I still never won the lotto? Do you see what I'm saying? This is all bullshit. It's all smoke and mirrors. It's all lies. And it's probably one of the easiest lies to figure out on your own, because all you have to do is go outside and look up, because they're doing it right now. And when they start using the children against you, you know that they are desperate, and you know that it's going to start ramping up even worse. Look at these poor children. Global warming, climate change. The only problem is not everybody agrees with this whatsoever at all. Not anybody by a long shot, including the guy that actually created the Weather Channel. It didn't exist before him. You just had the weathermen. So to John Coleman, he was a brave American, and they tried to make him look like an absolute idiot before he died. And it's a sad state of affairs. Links will be in the comments. Save all this information. Prepare yourself, because things are ramping up exponentially. Or don't. I did a live stream last night on RFB2, Animal Sacrifice, Are They Building the Third Temple? And I had the big Sib on to talk about Revelations, Freemasonic, and who really runs things. And I also did a live stream this morning with a couple that has sold their house, quit their jobs, and they're traveling the country. They're traveling the world in a Land Cruiser 80 series, just like mine. And when you can sit on top of a pyramid in the morning and drink a cup of coffee and there's nobody around for miles, while a howler monkey sits in a tree watching you, I think you're living as you're supposed to. Or not. I'm out.